Everybody, this is Niall and Alex with the Drive Home Movie Reviews.
And we just saw
Man on the Run. It's a new Paul McCartney documentary that came out for one night only in theaters. We had a theater near us, and I love the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, I love Paul McCartney.
Me fan.
Yeah, he's my fave.
I'm not a big fan of the Beatles, but I did find it interesting. We were the youngest people in there by like 45 years, I would say. And some of the old women in particular would crack up at these like ridiculously cheesy jokes for a really long time. It actually made us laugh. Yeah. It was funny. It was too long.
Yeah, I will say I love the Beatles, and I probably knew 90% of the material that was covered in that movie, but it felt a little too long. Especially, like, I thought they were going to go to Band on the Run, and that was going to be the end, thus the name Man on the Run.
Yeah.
And nope, they just kept going.
Yep,
and going. And I was like, oh wow, we're covering Back to the Egg.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I forgot that was even an album. So it just kept going and going. Besides that, I would say it was a really good movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a really good movie.
It was not as good as the documentary that we saw last night, the Epic. Elvis Presley, I think that was really exciting and fun.
This one, not so much.
I think if you don't know anything about Paul McCartney, I could see you finding this a very interesting story if you like the Beatles.
I'm not the biggest Beatle fan. I felt like this was kind of boring.
I definitely have heard all of that stuff for the most part, and there were a few things that I was like, oh, I just learned something new. But I've watched like plenty of YouTube videos about all of that stuff.
I feel like there's been better documentaries made.
Yeah, and this the guy who directs this is, I'll put his name here, but he is a very well-renowned like documentary director. And he did 20 Feet from Stardom, which is like a huge documentary about the backup singers for bands, famous bands. And then he did the best-selling documentary of all time, which was a few years ago. It was the documentary on Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. So I expected a lot from this documentary, and I think it's above average, but not like fantastic.
What would you rate it?
I would rate this 64.
I would rate it like a 50, maybe even lower, honestly, maybe a 40. Just because I just feel like the Beatles and all the documentaries and all the stuff is just oversaturated.
Definitely is like well-trotted area.
Yeah, a ton of other bands getting like 18 documentaries made.
They do come out with like, I mean, he had a book last year. They come out with stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I will say I reserve one exception. I am excited for those 4 movies coming out next year, all on the same day. Beatles biopics.
Yeah, the biopics. But
yeah.
The good thing about those are they're not documentaries. They're set through hours and hours of documentaries about the Beatles. And like I can even recall just one about Paul that we watched recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably within the last year.
Yeah, you and me?
No, not me, but like you put it on.
Yeah, I read his book last year too. Honestly, towards the area we were getting, like around the time he got in trouble for pot in Japan.
Yeah, that was like the end of the movie.
And that is generally the area of Paul I don't care much for. Like they played a snippet of that song, Temporary Secretary.
Yeah.
It's like his worst song. It's so stupid, but they covered all the bases. I mean, they went into detail for the most part on all the big hits, like from Ram to Band on the Run. I like Wildlife.
Definitely like. And then songs I do not like.
Do you want ice cream?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So McCartney, Man on the Run documentary.
Yep.
I really don't have a whole lot to say about it. I mean, there's no acting. I mean, the editing of the show itself was really neat, like the way things peeled back. And We touched on what the other Beatles were, well, mainly just what John Lennon was doing during all of this. It went up through, he got shot. You're right, it did just cover a lot of area that we all know so well.
Yeah, I guess the only thing it gave me more insight on was Paul and Linda.
Linda McCartney.
Yeah.
Linda Eastwood was her original name, but she dies like shortly after the stuff.
Really?
Yeah, after all of that,
What
she
did
died
she
of breast
die?
cancer.
Oh my god.
I thought they were gonna like at least say something at the end. But.
Yeah. Fuck.
And then Paul McCartney went on to get married like 2 or 3 more times and ended in like terrible divorces that made news, and he lost like questionable amounts of money.
Yeah. Well, it made their little family look really cute.
I know, I did really think that's fascinating though, that he would like decided to go live in a shed that even the people in the town were like, no, nobody lives in that shed.
Yeah, on the cliffs of Scotland.
Yeah, he just went out to Ireland, got this
I think
place
it's
out in the middle of
Scotland.
nowhere. Oh, Scotland. Like a little farmland. He had
He had
sheep and horses, and
Dogs.
the people in the town were like, oh yeah, the Beatles up there right now.
Yeah, that's how they were.
They said something like that. I always thought it was funny that those guys that quit the band before it got famous, but he did have them like dressing up in wizards outfits and playing Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah.
They were like, we want to be rock stars. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. And then I don't think Paul notices it, but he does take creative control.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's acknowledged it in other interviews I've seen. He did that to the Beatles at the end, and that's why we got Let It Be and Abbey Road and Sgt. Pepper's. And I've always thought he had more of an influence than John at what I consider the best parts of the Beatles right there at the end. That's my hot take, and that's her review.
Yeah.
So,
Toodaloo.
Duluth tomorrow, Psycho Killer. Let me roll out.